In a small town in India, there was a government school where students came, not with ambition, but with routine. The classrooms had cracked walls, broken fans, and benches with scratched-out initials. Among the students sat Arjun, always on the last bench, always quiet. He wasn't the brightest student. In fact, he had failed in math twice and was often scolded by teachers. His classmates laughed when he spoke, not because he was funny, but because he stuttered. The world had labeled him slow, weak, average. Arjun had accepted it, or at least he acted like he did. But what no one knew was that every evening, Arjun would go to the town library. While others played cricket or watched TV, he sat in a corner and read. He didn't just read textbooks. He read about scientists, leaders, businessmen, and warriors. He didn't understand every word, but he understood one thing. All great people were once called crazy. The turning point, one day, a motivational speaker came to the school. He spoke about success, about rising from nothing, and about changing your story. At the end of the session, he said, "If anyone here has a dream, stand up and tell it to the world." The room fell silent. No one stood up until a hand rose from the last bench. Gasps, whispers, laughter. Arjun stood up, heart pounding, palms sweating. He looked at the speaker and said, I want to be a scientist, like Abdul Kalam." The room burst into laughter. Even the teacher smiled awkwardly, trying to calm the students. But the speaker raised his hand and said, "Let the boy finish." Arjun continued, trembling but determined. "People say I'm not smart enough, that I can't do it, but I read his story. He failed too, but he kept going. I will too." There was silence, not the mocking kind, but the powerful kind. That day something changed. Not in the school, not in the students. In Arjun, the fire within. From that day, Arjun stopped trying to fit in. He stopped comparing his marks with others. He made a plan. Every morning, he woke up at 4 a.m. He revised the previous day's lessons, watched free science videos on his uncle's phone, and taught himself how to learn. He was still weak in English, but he started writing one word a day on a paper and sticking it to the wall. He was still laughed at, but now he didn't care. Failure had stopped scaring him. Mediocrity had. He failed again in math that year, but this time, instead of crying, he stayed up all night solving the same problems until they made sense. The breakthrough. By the time Arjun reached class 10, something remarkable had happened. He stood third in the school in science. His name was on the school notice board. For the first time ever, he didn't celebrate. He smiled and got back to work. He applied for a free science scholarship program run by a national organization. Thousands applied. Only a few got selected. Arjun was one of them. That summer, he attended a science camp where he met students from top schools. At first, he felt small, but when he explained a physics concept using real-life examples, even the professors were impressed. One of them asked, "Which school do you come from?" He smiled and said, "From the last bench of a forgotten classroom." The dream realized years passed. Arjun kept moving forward, slowly, quietly, unshakably. He got admission to a reputed college. Not IIT, not MIT, but a place where he could learn and grow. While others chased grades, Arjun chased understanding. He published his first research paper in second year. By final year, he was offered a position in a government space research project. The boy who once stuttered while saying his name was now delivering talks to young dreamers like he once was. One day, he returned to his old school. The walls were still cracked, the benches still scratched, but the students, some of them looked at him with wide eyes and hope. He walked to the same classroom. The last bench was empty. He sat down, smiled, and whispered to himself, "It wasn't the front bench that made you special. It was the fire inside you that no one could see but you." The lesson: people will doubt you, laugh at you, label you, and worst of all, sometimes you'll believe them. But remember this: your current situation is not your final destination. The last bench, the failure, the rejection, these are not endings. They're the beginning of your fight, your fire, your story. You don't need to be the best from the start. You just need to believe and never stop moving. Because sometimes, the one who is doubted the most becomes the one who inspires the world the most.